Swami ji की book पे ना, not that. Oh. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. 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 Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Hari Om to everybody.
Pranam Swamiji.
Pranam, Pranam, Pranam.
Namaskaram Swamiji.
Namaskaram, Namaskaram. So today is Puja Swamiji's 105th Jayanti day. Though he was passing through trying moments, not because of any worldly problem, because he was not getting the answers for his fundamental question. That was his problem. Not that he had to look after the family or share the burden of a joint family. Nothing like that. He was free from all those things. But this question, no, why this life? When we look at it, what strikes to us, many people, unlike what we see today, the living conditions were very, very, very tough. So many children had to go and support their parents at a very tender age. And so many untold problems in the family, so parents have to be helped. But in his case, there was no such thing. First, from what he told us, the great disappointment that he couldn't pursue the higher studies. And then he said he was only seeing people becoming self-centered and everything is transitory. So what is the purpose of this life? Nobody could answer. This fundamental question. There is no answer for this. At the same time, at that time he was not prompted to take to the labeled spiritual practice. He was going through and God took him to, there was short employment in Coimbatore. From there he joined the military, Indian Army, as a Sipai clerk. He told us the purpose of joining was in a war. He thought, we will die. So easy. But there also he was not a Jawan, he was in the ministerial side. Though he was functioning well, this question was tormenting him. And immediately after the World War, in between depression, he took leave, came back, he did not know what to do. Elder brother told him to take to Vishnu Sahasranam. That gave him some relief. Because whatever said and done, his family hailed from a Palakkad Brahmin family. So they had the tradition of right from childhood, whether you know it or not. There will be so many functions, festivals, rituals, mantra chanting. So many things will be going on. Unknowingly or knowingly, you will get used to it. So that background was there. His father was also a very noble person. Then from there, what struck to us was, this is something we many of us would not have understood. Before coming to the ashram, when I was sitting for meditation, concentrating on the light within, the light of Atma, suddenly the light expanded and expanded to infinity, making this body appear an insignificant spot in that infinite existence. This gave me the vision that God or Atma is not confined to a spot within the body, but he is infinite, all pervading, as the whole universe is in him. As the whole universe is in him. This experience was a great soothing factor and carried me through many vicissitudes in life. Whenever any external condition was disturbing, I had only to switch back to my real being, and immediately I would see the names and forms of the universe floating in me, and anything happening in the manifestation was not of much importance, as everything is transitory. Thus, His infinite mercy was carrying me through safely. Before coming to the ashram, when I was sitting for meditation, concentrating on the light within, the light of Atma, suddenly the light expanded and expanded to infinity, making this body appear an insignificant spot in that infinite existence. This gave me the vision that God or Atma is not confined to a spot within the body. When we hear these words, any thought arises?
Yeah. Yes, Swamiji. It's not a spot in the body which is actually the Atman which is there within us, but that infinite expanse in that the body is a teeny tiny little.
No, normally an aspirant or a devotee or a sadhaka, the moment we hear about Atman, Brahman, God, consciousness, intelligence, life force, the normal tendency is to locate it, no? Normal tendency. And we reach nowhere. But here, a new dimension. He is infinite as the whole universe is in him. We are trying to understand the God dimension within us, That is why we don't reach anywhere, in spite of our doing so many things under the banner of spiritual discipline, religious festivities, rituals, vratas. Because the fundamental error, we cannot say, but we will now, for the time being, we will try to understand. The fundamental error is that we want to see God inside, whereas we are within God. When we are reading, this is something, Ramana Bhagavan used to say that, Just think about it. Is that why we are not progressing? The clarity is not coming. As the whole universe is in him. So whenever if that is somewhat clear, Again, he struggled a lot. So, when it was somewhat clear, he says, whenever any external condition was disturbing, I had only to switch back to my real being. And immediately I would see the names and forms of the universe floating in me. And anything happening in the manifestation was not of much importance, as everything is transitory. So, 2, 3 things. One is normally as a sadhaka, we try to always see, we close our eyes, we chant Ramnam, we try to find out, we are, intellect is also trying to feel the presence of the witness consciousness. And finally, when we
Swamiji,
we
always say God says within us. Hridayarvindam solvom இல்லையா? Hridayarvindamனு சொல்லுவோம். God says within the.
அப்படி கரெக்ட். பட் அந்த ரியாலிட்டி என்னன்னா, the sense of individuality is within him. That is why Papa brought the word great void before he brought the word Ram. In Papa's case, he was very clear, no? The great void. So this is something on which we are now praying, what Swamiji has expressed here. This sense of individuality, the body, making this body appear an insignificant spot in the infinite existence. His body appear an insignificant spot in that infinite existence. So infinite existence.
Swamiji, this infinite existence is the great void.
Same. In which everything is there, but we start, try to locate him inside.
The kingdom of God is within into the nature.
Within and always.
Thou who art within and without, above and below and all around. Yeah?
No.
So Swamiji, within means it cannot be located. No, he is all over. Interpenetrating the very sense of the being. Tip of the toe and the head of top of the head parent எல்லா இடத்துல இருக்கிறது இல்லையா?
1 minute. We will try to understand this. One question here raised. Every time we have been told God is within. But within and without, it is not merely within. Now let us try to understand. The space is within, the space is without. But actually it is in the outer space this exists. Technically you can also say this is within. This is the great void, in which everything can be put. The container is the great void, and everything is a content. Everything is a content, it can accommodate in the container called great void.
Swamiji, please, one question. In the infinite existence, vast existence, particulate matters also remain. The matter also remains, no?
Everything. It has come from him only, matter. Everything has come from that only. That is why in Taittiriya Upanishad it is mentioned like that. First, that when it wanted to become money, Papa used to add that word. when that power wanted to become many, first it came out in the form of space. Space, air, fire, water, earth, trees, food, human being. So the first, this thing is space. That is why in many times we will say the Gaganopamoham, no? Everywhere you will find that. Pradasmarami hridayam surat atmatattvam satchitsugam paramahamsa gadim duriyam yatsapra jagara sushuptim avedinityam tadbrahmanushkalavaham brahmanandam paramasugadam kevalam jnanamurtim dandvatitam gagana sadrisham. All enveloping. Even in Vishnu Sahasranam. Adhe thane. Akashamna space thane. Consciousness chidam. Chidam chittu consciousness. Dellam oro word then. We should not stop with that word. Let us try to understand. So when we close our eyes and when we try, so in Swamiji's case, this presence of great void, he was gifted. When I was sitting for meditation, concentrating on the light within, normally all of us do that, no? We cannot concentrate on something outside. So concentrate on the light within. Light means an awareness, you can call it. Whatever way one can interpret. Suddenly the light expanded and expanded to infinity. The individual, we take it, it can also be interpreted like this. The individual consciousness keeps, because all these things and the experience an embodied self there. So he was blessed with an experience of raising himself over the body. This gave me the vision that God or Atma is not confined to a spot within the body. That is why we are concentrating on this. As a sadhaka, as an aspirant, it might help us. No? This gave me the vision that God or Atma is not confined to a spot within the body, but he is infinite, all-pervading, as the whole universe is in him. Something for all of us to do manana intensely. Jnaneshwari. Nika.
Maybe a simple way of putting it is,
same question,
maybe a simple way of putting it is that God is immanent in the universe, but at the same time transcendent also. So he's not entirely immanent, because it's not only immanent, but it's also transcendent.
That is right. But in Swamiji's case, normally we always think, we concentrate inside. We will never concentrate this on outside. And we get stuck there. That means he is within us, instead of we are within him.
But Swamiji,
This is something on which we have to do some manana.
the entire universe is within him into thane sollirukkaru. Again, inside thane sollirukkaru. Ninga, from what you read just now.
Swamiji,
Yes.
எல்லாமே அவனுக்குள்ள அடக்கம்ங்கிறாரு இல்லையா சுவாமிஜி?
அவனுக்குள்ள, நம்மளுக்குள்ள இல்ல.
இல்ல, அவனுக்குள்ள, பகவானுக்குள்ள அடக்கம்.
ஆமா.
அவனுக்குள்ள.
ஆமா.
சுவாமிஜி அப்படி சொல்றார். பட் நம்ம அது நமக்குமே இதுக்கு கொண்டு வரணும்.
നമ്മൾ என்ன பண்ணணும்னு சொன்னா, നമ്മളിപ്പോൾ ഒരു ഗുരുവെ பார்த்தோம், அல்ல ஒரு சோசன் டேட்டியை பார்த்தோம், ராமர், கிருஷ்ணர், பரமசிவர், விக்னேஸ்வரர். அப்போ என்ன பண்ணுறோம்னு சொன்னால், நம்ம அதை உள்ளே அவர் இருக்காருனால எப்படி வி மே ஹாவ் அவர் ஓன் வியூஸ். கோவிலுக்கு போகிறத வெளியில் பார்ப்போம், கோவிலேருந்து திரும்பி வந்து ஆற்ற வந்து பிரார்த்தனை பண்ணுறது, when we do meditation, that form comes in our mind. And then we try to see him. No? Always, unknowingly, we may not even know this. We are always trying to limit him. No? Unknowingly. Not that we don't want to limit him. But at the same time, Swamiji was blessed with an experience prior to coming to the ashram, before coming to the ashram. So that means God gave him some, the picture for trailer. Our trailer கொடுத்திருக்கார். So that was guiding him. And this is a very fundamental thing, you know. We are trying to dig out some aspect in his life so that it might help in our journey. That's what we are planning. So he is now guiding us to this particular. Prior to our coming here, prior to our starting this, we were just wondering, what is Swamiji, what do you want us to do reflection? Then the guidance came to go to, what is this book? Silent Sage. So in the Silent Sage, in the introduction, this portion was culled out from experience and reflections. That was culled out from God guides. All those things are his own words. So here, when the moment we read, normally the tendency is to see him with, we keep on telling, we will not be able, we were not giving attention to the within and without. Without we have no idea, no. According to us, without is full of names and forms. According to us now, this without is with the names and forms. And there we don't see God, to superimpose God there is the toughest job. So we every day we repeat, you are within and without and all pervading. But the reflection is not going on. So today Swamiji thought, by expressing his experience, probably he might be able to give us some direction. And the direction is this. When I was sitting for meditation, concentrating on the light within, normally that is the tendency, Suddenly the light expanded to infinity, making this body appear an insignificant spot in that infinite existence. Immediately we should ask ourselves, are we moving somewhere near that? This gave me the vision that God or Atma is not confined to a spot within the body, but he is infinite, all-pervading, as the whole universe is in him. So the space is outside, the space is inside. So indwelling and all-pervading, we get some idea. And whenever in our search, in our spiritual journey, what do? Each one has to find out, that's all. Whether we have been able to accept this first intellectually, that he is all-pervading, in which I am also there. This particular container, body is also the container, yeah. In the vast container, this body container is also there. In which, just like when you take a jar, and outside the jar there is space, inside the jar is also space. And the jar as such, the empty jar, it also exists in the space. But the jar gives us the feeling that it is separate. The indwelling and all-pervading space is not felt by us, known by us, recognized by us. And so the individuality of the jar, that is more conspicuous than the other one. The other one is subtle, this is gross.
Swamiji,
Ah,
because this gross is visible to us, we always feel that this is the only thing that is known, unreal.
correct.
தெரியாதது unreal ன்னு தோன்றுது சுவாமிஜி.
So we have to now start thinking, manana. So
And when you say great word, அது எங்கேயோ வெளியில எங்கேயோ தூரத்துல எங்கேயோ இருக்கிறப்பல இருக்கு.
இப்போ கொஞ்சம் கொஞ்சம் கிளாரிட்டி வரலாமே. அப்படிதான் முதல்ல ஆரும் அதை ட்ரை பண்ணிட்டே இல்லையே ஆரும் அது நோபடி. ஈவன் வி ரிமெம்பர் when this was translated into different languages, everybody was struggling to get a proper word. தமிழில் வெட்ட வழி எல்லாம் சொன்னோம், பட் இட் வாஸ் நாட் கிளியர். அதே தொடக்கம் யூ ஓப்பன் ஞானேஸ்வரி டுடே ஹி ஹஸ் சென்ட். பார்க்கணும் எந்த சாப்டரில்? இங்கிலீஷா தமிழா? தமிழ் என்ன சாப்டர் ஞாபகம் இருந்தால் ஐ கேன் செக். So now coming back again, so this gave me the vision that God or Atma is not confined to a spot within the body, but is infinite, all-pervading as the whole universe is in him. This experience was a great soothing factor and carried me through many vicissitudes in life. Whenever any external condition was disturbing,
Open it already? No.
today's email. Suryanarayan. Suryanarayan.
He's giving that only. Sorry.
Which chapter? Which chapter? 285th page.
Chapter is it? It's written over there. Shloka number 62. Shloka number 62. Chapter number is not.
Chapter number?
He can read.
Second,
He is saying he can read that. Yeah.
அர்ஜுனன் என்பவர் அர்ஜுனன் என்ற பாவத்தை தன்னுடன் சேர்த்து கொள்ளாமல் கேவலம் நான் என்று மாத்திரமே. It's difficult for me to read. You can show him.
I'll show him. Yeah.
Which chapter? The sloga.
63.
No. You tell me the sloga.
Shloka number 63. Sorry.
Sure. The starting the sloga. No. Tvameva.
One second. It says Swameva.
Tvameva.
Swameva.
No, but that is enough. Don't.
Shariram.
No. Tvameva is the starting,
Swameva Shariram.
Vanda. Sharanam Gacha.
Sharanam Gacha, correct.
18th chapter. 18th chapter.
62.
Take it, 62.
He can read it.
படிங்க.
அர்ஜுனன் என்ற பாவத்தை தன்னுடன் சேர்த்துக் கொள்ளாமல் கேவலம் நான் என்று மாத்திரமே ஒரு ஞானஸ்புரம் உச்சத்தில் உண்டாகிறதே, அதுவே ஈஸ்வரனுடைய சுரூபம். அப்படிப்பட்ட ஈஸ்வரன் உன்னுடைய இயற்கையை வேலை செய்யும்படி தூண்டி வைப்பான். பின்பு நீ போர் செய்வதில்லை என்று இருந்த போதிலும் அந்த இயற்கை உன்னை போர் செய்யும்படி நிச்சயமாய் செய்து வைக்கும். ஆகவே ஈஸ்வரனே சர்வஸ்வாமி. அவன் பிரகிருதியை நியமிக்கட்டும். அவன் இந்திரியங்களை வேலை செய்யும்படியாய் சுகமாய் செய்து கொள்ளட்டும். நீ மாத்திரம் செய்கையையும் செய்யாமையையும் பிரகிருதியும் கழுத்தில் கட்டிவிடு.
அது சரி, இது டைரக்ட் நம்மளுக்கு இப்போ டிஸ்கஸ் பண்ணுறது அதல்ல.
அர்ஜுனன் என்ற பாவத்தை தன்னுடன் சேர்த்து கொள்ளாமல் கேவலம் நான் என்று மாத்திரமே ஒரு ஞானஸ்புரணம் உன் சித்தத்தில் உண்டாகிறது அதுவே ஈஸ்வருடைய சொரூபம்.
அது சரியா, அதெல்லாம் சரி. இங்கே அதல்ல பிரச்சனம், இங்கே அதல்ல பிரச்சனம். இங்கே என்னத்த பிரச்சனம்னா, சுவாமி சொல்கிறார் பகவான் உள்ளே இருக்கும்னு சொல்கிறோம் இல்லையா, நம்ம உள்ளேயும் வெளியிலேயும் உள்ளேயும் இருக்கார். அந்த வெளியில் இருக்காங்கிறது எப்படி நமக்கு புரியறதுன்னு அதுக்கு அவருக்கு ஒரு எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ் கிடச்சிது. அதானது when I was sitting for meditation, concentrating on the light within, the light of Atman, suddenly the light expanded and expanded to infinity, making this body appear an insignificant spot in that infinite existence. This gave me the vision that God or Atman is not confined to a spot within the body. So, when we start reflecting, எப்படி ஹெல்ப் பண்ணுறது, that is what we are trying now.
Swamiji, actually in the all-pervading nature பற்றி யஜ்ஞவல்லப ரிஷிக்கும் மைத்ரேயிக்கும் நடந்த ஒரு கான்வர்சேஷன் ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു.
ഇവർ ജ്ഞാനേശ്വരിൽ എന്നെ തുടർന്ന മലയാളത്തിൽ തമേവ ശരണം ഗച്ഛ സർവഭാവേന ഭാരത തത്പ്രസാദാത് പരം ശാന്തിം സ്ഥാനം പ്രാപ്സ്യസി ശാശ്വതം. ഗംഗ സമുദ്രത്തെ ശരണം പ്രാപിക്കുന്നത് പോലെ നിൻ്റെ വാക്ക്, ചിത്തം, ശരീരം എന്നിവയെ സർവാത്മന ഈശ്വരൻ സമർപ്പിച്ച് നീ അവനെ ശരണം പ്രാപിക്കണം. അപ്പോൾ അവൻ്റെ പ്രസാദത്താൽ നിൻ്റെ സർവ്വ വ്യവഹാരങ്ങളും അവസാനിച്ച് പരമശാന്തിയാകുന്ന തരുണിയുടെ പതിയായ സ്വാനന്ദമയമായ ആത്മസ്വരൂപത്തിൽ ലയിച്ച് രമിക്കുന്നതിന് നിനക്ക് ഇഷ്ടയാകും. അതോടെ ഏത് സ്ഥാനത്തു നിന്നാണോ സൃഷ്ടികളെല്ലാം സൃഷ്ടിക്കപ്പെടുന്നത്, എവിടെയാണോ വിശ്രമം കൊള്ളുന്നത്, എവിടെയാണോ അനുഭവം തന്നെ അനുഭവത്തെ അനുഭവിച്ചറിയുന്നത്, ആ ശാശ്വത സ്ഥാനമാകുന്ന നിൻ്റെ ആത്മപദവിക്ക് നീ അർഹനായിത്തീരും. Let us try. Let us keep on trying. We start our life with personal effort. Then we come to personal assertion expressed as I. And we do all things. Finally, we learn that it is not I, but only He. He and nothing else is there. That is the last language of spiritual life. So that is the nature of divine grace. All those things we have heard, it has not given us the quality, the direction. We are searching for a direction. No? Before coming to the ashram, when I was sitting for meditation, where is it? Anyway, it's a food for thought for all of us. Today being is Jayanti day, we are not trying to experiment through the world. We are trying to catch something, some hidden, unexplained guidance is there. Vivekananda. That is right. Vivekananda says God lived with them. So, from the earliest time that I can remember, I used to see a marvelous point of light between my eyebrows as soon as I shut my eyes to go to sleep. And I used to watch its various changes with great attention. The marvelous point of light would change colors, get bigger, until it took the form of a ball. Finally, it would burst, cover my body from head to foot with white liquid light. As soon as that happened, I would lose outer consciousness and fall asleep. I used to believe That was the way everybody went to sleep. Then, when I grew older and began to practice meditation, that point of light would appear to me as soon as I closed my eyes, and I would concentrate upon that. So we are trying to understand something, whether what can be, how will it help us, This is our mode. This gave me the vision that God or Atma is not confined to a spot within the body, but he is infinite, all-pervading, as the whole universe is in him. This experience was a great soothing factor and carried me through many vicissitudes in life. Whenever any external condition was disturbing, I had only to switch back to my real being, and immediately I would see the names and forms of the universe floating in me. Something for us. Whether it helps us or not, each one has to decide. This is one aspect today he touches and kindles. During all these days, the practice of visualizing, returning to railway quarters where sister and family stayed, I continued to serve sister and her children in all possible ways. Then I wrote to Papa, referring to my previous visit to ashram, and his promise to call me to the ashram, come immediately. So on the 26th January, I came to the ashram, which became my home. It was really a homecoming. During all these days, the practice of visualizing Lord Vishnu in my heart went on with great joy. Before coming to the ashram, when I was sitting for meditation, concentrating on the light within, the light of Atma, suddenly the light expanded and expanded to infinity. This gave me the vision that God or Atma is not confined to a spot within the body, but he is infinite, all pervading as the whole universe. This experience was a great soothing. Thus his infinite mercy was carrying on. We don't know. The struggle is to get established in that consciousness. So these are all the ways by which he has expressed his experience. It is for us, not necessarily that we will be able to understand, but it might help us. Before coming to the ashram, when I was sitting for meditation, concentrating on the light within, Suddenly the light expanded and expanded to infinity, making many ardent sadhakas used to share like this, that they get this, but they are unable to get it back again. That fleeting experience had come full. And yes, 2-3 people expressed the only as light. Another person said, I cannot explain, but the moment I start explaining, I get connected to it. So the light, that is an expression, comes to many ardent sadhakas. That means God is giving them a fleeting experience. And the tangible gain, why we got stuck here? He said whenever the mind get disturbed, it was enabling him to get back to that stage. Whether that stayed with him throughout, that we don't know. So he says, this experience as a great soothing factor carried me through. Whenever any external condition was disturbing, I had only to switch back to my real being capital. And immediately I would see the names and forms of the universe floating in me. And anything happening in the manifestation was not of much importance, as everything is transitory. Thus his infinite mercy was carrying me through safely.
Could it not be that his earlier experience, as you read the first part, focused on the image of Vishnu?
She's saying, that isn't it possible that his previous experience was on concentrating on Vishnu within his heart?
Visualization of Vishnu.
Can't say.
That is a kind of a preparation.
Later on, Swamiji says the impersonal aspect. Even today morning we read,
Starts with visualization.
That is why he had that old habit will not die, So even when during his 2003, he drafted out a prayer. Though it was Saguna and Nirguna, in the Saguna aspect he was picturing about the Lord Vishnu's form. And one of the devotees, that is why they drew that and kept in Elanga. But today morning we read, where we read 80th. He says that
Is that not the function of
we should have a comprehensive idea. Every now and then God must be given so many. We look at ourselves when we are on this journey. So many such experiences, thoughts we give. But what ultimately stays with us? What were you talking now? Why I closed it?
To show Nirguna.
No. What life has taught me. It seems to be appropriate today to evaluate what the 8 years of life of this body has taught me, how the lessons have been made use of. Passing away of a closest relation when I was only 6. But in experience, here he says, mother. He made me take birth in a good, cultured, devout but not rich family where I got all love and affection at the human level. God took away my mother, my earthly mother, when I was only 6 years old. Okay, so that is clear. The passing away of a closest relative when I was only 6 or 7 taught me that everything in the world was transitory. Though not a drop of tear was shed, the shock that I helped me, I had helped me to get over all further shocks. As a student, I learned I should give my full attention, 100% to studies, and later to whatever type of work I had to, forgetting anything else during that time. This brought success in life. Watching different characters and the sufferings they had on account of their attachment to their own relations and friends, their likes and dislikes, touched me deeply and made me feel that I should not be involved in their life like theirs. I understood the hollowness of my life, however brilliant it appeared from outside, like high position, possession of property, name, fame, as I saw that though all those persons had everything, they were still searching for peace and happiness. Beloved Papa soon made it clear to me that life is God, and life dedicated to God is the true life, and such a life alone can give happiness. It was after that he brought about external circumstances in such a way as to synchronize with the inner prompting he had given me to seek him only. He brought me to the ashram to be at his holy feet. From then on, it was a new life and a new life and a real life. I could experience every moment what real love was as compared to the worldly love experience. I felt that such a life alone is worth living, though there were minor struggles in adjusting to the new life. While leaving the old contacts, I told, refused. But coming here and engaging myself, I found that a much stronger backbone is necessary. Here, beloved Papa made me understand what a saint is and how different he is from the ordinary. I was happy that I was on the right path. He taught me that living in the ashram was alone not sufficient for spiritual progress, and unless it was backed up by intense sadhana, never losing sight of the goal, chances of stagnation would be there. One living in the ashram should never be satisfied with the relative peace that he gets here because of the absence of other usual worries and anxieties. One should not rest content until he is able to attain the peace and bliss of the eternal. He also taught me, he also taught me that we should aim at the realization of the impersonal aspect of God, followed by the universal vision, and not be content with the darshan of God in any particular form, as the former alone is permanent and therefore the highest experience. These words came in November 1999. But later on we know he had that sentimental attachment toward that form. And though that is why in that prayer he gave elaborate description about that. So and then Lakshmi drew this, and it was kept there for him. So we cannot say that because he was also deriving some joy from that form. He says one should not rest content until he is able to attain the peace and bliss of the eternal. He also taught me that we should aim at the realization of the impersonal aspect of God, followed by the universal vision, and not be content with. So nothing wrong in that form has inspired him, that form has given him something, so but he only wants that we should not be content with that. We should never be not be content with the darshan of God in any particular form, as the former alone is permanent and therefore the highest experience. Another danger to overcome is attachment to personalities in the name of love. Love must be impersonal. In the ashram, he taught me that more we truly love others, the more our heart expands and the supply from within becomes unlimited. Our love should be without expecting anything in return, not even love or gratitude. Here he taught me the joy of giving and how the more we give, the more God provides. Our revered Mataji used to say, if you are too calculating while giving to someone, don't forget that God also will be equally or more calculating in giving you. I also learned that when some deserving he taught me that our worldly attainments are like tin cells, and that life lived to attain God and establish in God alone is worth living. Though I claimed that I was doing everything, finally he taught me that it was he alone who was taking care of me from the beginning, making me pass through varied experiences, making me do many things, good or bad according to our calculation, only to work out his will through this body in his universal game. He alone is, there is nothing but he. This is also another point. Making me pass through varied experiences, making me do so many things, good or bad, according to our calculation, only to work out his will through this body in his universal game. So ultimately, we can say this is the message instead of complicating too much. He is working out his will through me, about which I am not aware. So I take over the doership and ownership. So my sadhana is to become aware of this. Every thought, every word, every deed, he is working out his will through me. The entire space also provides space for a jar, and the space is inside also, it is working out. The will of through the jar, it can contain anything. A finite thing cannot be filled in an infinite thing. The moment suppose we throw it out, what will happen? It won't be there. It gets spread. But in a jar space, when we put, it is there. So the open space wills that this particular item is to be preserved in this jar. And the jar does not know this. Jar thinks that I am accommodating the lozenge or biscuit. But the jar should know that the space is providing the space again to contain the contents. Start thinking on those lines. Inside, outside, and it is his will. The jar as such has no will. But for all practical experience, the jar has got an individual existence. It might help us to go within. Let us not get stuck with the jar. Something to guide us. Something to guide us. He taught me that he was alone. God, no. Though I claimed that I was doing everything, finally he taught me that it was he alone who was taking care of me from the beginning, making me pass through varied experiences and making me do many things, good or bad, according to our calculation, only to work out his will through this body in his universal game. He alone is, there is nothing but he. So to 3-4 things today it came. The first, it might help us. So this is the purpose of celebrating or observing some days connected with a saint's life. We try to go within, how he has scaled his experiment, how God revealed to him. We may not be able to do that, but some direction, some clues. Swamiji himself used to say that when he used to read these biographical sketches of masters, so from there, the input comes and the direction comes. So today we are directed to go through these a few words on his 105th Jayanti day. That is our take-home message. The other one, we will have some joy, remembering him. It's okay. But along with that, we should also have something for us to emulate from his life. So the first statement, why we were drawn, because he says, whenever there is any disturbance, all that I have to do is to go back and then realize everything is transitory. Suppose somebody says something, the moment I become aware it is coming and going, then its impact will be less. Yes, we have witnessed. Somebody told him on his face when he said something which is not good. But somebody kept quiet. And in the evening he came back, prostrated in the same room, and said, I was under the pressure of blood pressure, so I have said something. Swami should not take anything into the heart. And I touched his feet and Swamiji smiled. That we thought, because he is Sthita Prajna. But now we slowly try to understand. When something happens, it was not affecting him because he was trying, this will also pass away. Like that, in a few hours, that experience went away from that person. He realized, he came, and Swamiji, all that Swamiji did was to keep quiet. What is the learning from that? That we would not have applied our mind. We simply, because of our reverence for him, attached for him, we said, he is level-headed. So he is Sthita Prajna, so he is not reacting. It is not like that. Now it's becoming very clear. He was always trying to get back. This will come and go, testing. And when he was not reacting it had its own impact. He was not reacting not because of anything. He had experienced this and he has only to touch and get back to that. At the individual level, you will react. But when you connect yourself with a higher level, you will not react. This is a very powerful message, very powerful message.
Will you not react, Swamiji? If you connect yourself at the higher level, you will not react because you think it's a higher force who is doing it through this instrument.
That higher level, he said, this light expanding. Again, we need not form any other concept. He was blessed with that fleeting experience where he knew that God is all-pervading, we are in this. And all those things are coming and going. So whenever any disturbance comes, all that he has to do is to immediately take a flight there. From there he looks.
I think that the higher force is doing all this.
And to realize that he is working out his will through me. A very powerful message, very powerful message. Everybody has gone? Huh? They are there. Eh? What is it?
Oh, it's gone offline.
Offline. So
The power went.
they,
That's why they were all sending message here. I was thinking why they are sending message.
It's gone offline.
yeah, we will open and then say goodbye,
No, Swami, I'll just connect. Till then you cannot connect. I'll just connect.
She will connect.
One thing I don't understand anything that is
Oh, two people are still there.
not normally we
Only
say
three. Nallipa and Neena are there.
space is, we are in space. Here Swamiji brings out that when that vision came to him, he saw that inside him there is that complete universe. He couldn't understand what it is.
Let us
Swami, that was capital H, I think.
You
The entire universe is in him.
in him na enna?
ஈஸ்வரா
In him na enna? அதாச்சும் வரணுமே. அதான் அது உள்ள நம்ம போயிட்டு இருக்கிறத நமக்கு கிளாரிட்டி தெரியும். The entire world is in me ன்னு சொல்கிறோமே, சத்தியம் தானே? Entire world, my world is within me. The moment I close, everything, all.
People are joining back, Swamiji, one by one. See, all have started coming back.
They heard on the YouTube.
Acha, they heard on YouTube in the meanwhile.
Good. Sorry, we were carried away by something else.
But Papa made us hear Swamiji.
Oh, very good.
What was important of delivered to us.
Very good.
Video is off, we can't see Swamiji.
The video, trying to put it on, it's not coming on, Lina. I'll have to restart the computer. I can't restart just now. Everybody get disconnected. It's come on by Papa's grace. I think the light has at least come.
During all these days, the practice of visualizing Lord Vishnu in my heart went on with great joy. Before coming to the ashram, when I was sitting for meditation, concentrating on the light within, suddenly the light expanded to infinity, making this body appear an insignificant spot in that infinite existence. This gave me the vision that God or Atma is not confined to a spot within the body, but he is infinite, all-pervading. The whole universe is in him. This experience was a great soothing factor, carried me through. You did not say he is within, no?
Within him, within God, yeah, Swamiji.
And the-
It sounded to us like Swamiji was saying it is inside
correct.
him. That's why the confusion.
காஸ்மிக்
Correct. When I am reading, I can see you will not.
Swamiji, all the names and forms floating in me.
No, it is not.
All the names and forms floating in me, he says. All the names and forms floating in me.
Swamiji,
Me capital, no.
Me capital.
See, when I read, you may think me means body, he means body.
Me capital.
But in English, this advantage is there. The moment the capital is brought, hearer you will not be able to understand.
Transformation, immediately he was able
No.
to switch over.
I had only to switch over back to my real being B capital, okay? And immediately I would see the names and forms of the universe floating in me capital. And anything happening in the manifestation was not of much importance, as everything is transitory. Oh, sorry. Normally I used to say, normally I used to say capital. This time I forgot. That is how the confusion took. In English, we have, that is why, in other language, this facility is not there. நமக்கு ஈஸியாக ஆயிடுச்சு, கேபிட்டல் போட்டால் பகவான் ஆயிடுச்சு. He சாதாரண person ஆயிடுச்சு. This advantage we don't have it in other language. Anyhow, that's okay. So we would not have been very clear, but something that will make us clear if we do some manana. The jar and the outer space, this room and the outer space, something like that. Suppose we try to bring in, probably we might be able to understand. Gaganam, Gagana Sadrisham. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Om. Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Hari Om to everybody. Pranam, pranam, pranam. Hari Om, Hari Om.
Namaskaram, Swamiji.
Namaskar, 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 namaskar.
Pranam, Swami.
Okay, okay. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om.